First, an observation. The topic we are asked to debate identifies a specific character, the UN, performing a specific act, adopting a resolution. My opponent only mentions the UN when she acknowledges that she's not saying the UN will put an end to the horror show. She never presents evidence or analysis that the UN can trigger an ethical shift she seeks, or why the UN is uniquely critical to that transformation. She ignores the actor completely. Since it is the duty of the proposition to answer why the topic should be adopted, she essentially is without a prima facie case at the end of her constructive, and you can vote in opposition right now. But just in case, here's an opposition case. Contention 1. The nature of the UN. Passing a resolution of the type the topic demands lies outside the fourfold purpose of the UN as spelled out in Article 1 of the UN Charter. Article 2, subpoint 7 states, "Nothing contained in the present Charter shall authorize the United Nations to intervene in matters which are essentially within the domestic jurisdiction of any state, or shall require the members to submit such matters to settlement under the present Charter." The Taiji hunt is a Japanese hunt conducted in Japanese waters. It is a domestic jurisdiction issue. Furthermore, the UN has no documents recognizing the animal's rights. Therefore, it lacks the legal framework to base a resolution on. This is an a priori issue. You have to show the UN is capable of passing a resolution before you decide whether they should, and my opponent has failed to do this. Contention 2. Taiji is non-unique. The dolphin hunt in Taiji is not unique. It is neither the only dolphin hunt in Japan, nor is Japan unique for hunting dolphins. The practice also exists in the Faroe Islands, Peru, and the Solomon Islands. The resolution my opponent advocates condemns Taiji, but through its silence gives tacit approval to all other locations practicing the same behavior. That's discriminatory and violates the founding principles of the UN. It also maintains the lack of ethics her case says she's against. Contention 3. Status quo is solving. There's no need for a resolution. Public awareness and external pressure are working. Public awareness from the Cove in 2009 caused changes in the slaughter method in 2010. Scrutiny has caused the number of dolphins killed to drop from 1,402 in 2008 to 899 last year. Louis Cios, director of the Cove, notes the increased media is helping change the discussion around the dolphin hunting. We're getting toward the tipping point with this, he said in January 9, 2014 interview for Yes magazine. You see hope everywhere. The status quo is solving without the UN's involvement. There's no need to adopt this resolution in today's debate. Now to my opponent's case. She only makes two claims. Butterworth is saying there's an ethical obligation to control the method of death, and Sipes saying we need to adopt Kantian ethics. First, these 2 points contradict. If we adopt Sipes' interpretation of Kant and treat dolphins as component species with its own ends, it makes her Butterworth position unethical, because he deals with the method of slaughter. You can't kill a component species while respecting its ends. If we reject Sipes' view, she admits in Butterworth that the UN can't end the horror show, so she's not changing the status quo with her case. Either way, she can't have both Butterworth and Sipes simultaneously. Next, look at her Sipes evidence. She didn't link it, but I have. It's from a student master's thesis, not a journal or a college professor. This is her only source for Kantian ethics, and we don't even know if Sipes is qualified to interpret Kant. We can, however, read Kant. He wrote, "The fact that man can have the idea I raises him infinitely above all other beings living on earth. By this he is a person, and by virtue of the unity of his consciousness, through all the changes he may undergo, he is one and the same person. That is, a being altogether different in rank and dignity from things such as irrational animals, which we can dispose of as we please." That's totally at odds with what she's trying to claim. The hunt my opponent is outraged by is the embodiment of Kantian ethics. If she hates them, she ought to be moving away from, not advocating we get closer to them. This is a complete turn of the proposition's position. If you hate Kant's views, then vote opposition where the status quo is solving. Thank you.